Welcome to Keeping Up with Our Community, a podcast for and about Romeo Community Schools. Each week, we will invite different guests to share insights about some unique aspects of our schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. Their in-studio podcast experience allows you to record perfect audio and capture amazing video. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. Contact them now via email for a free consultation and schedule a visit at mit.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com. Hello, my name is Marianne Brush, and I am the Communications and Marketing Supervisor for Romeo Community Schools. It is my pleasure to introduce our next episode of Keeping Up with Our Community and a continuation of our series on mental health and wellness. Today's episode will focus on nutrition and will be hosted by Mary Selden, Director of Special Services for Romeo Community Schools. Our guest today is Kristin Stewart, Registered Dietitian and Romeo Director of Food Service. I will now turn it over to Mrs. Selden to lead the discussion.
Thank you, Marianne. It's my pleasure to be hosting this episode of Keeping Up with Our Community Schools podcast. After reviewing feedback from our winter 2023 climate survey, parents asked for more resources on wellness as well as other recommendations. Our goal is to continue to create more resources on those topics and others to help students, parents, and staff in our community. As always, if you or someone you know is experiencing a mental health concern that impacts your daily life, please call your doctor. If you or someone you know is also having thoughts of suicide, please dial 988 for free confidential help 24/7 or call 911 for emergency help. I would like to welcome Kristin Stewart to our podcast. Kristin is the Director of Food Service for Romeo Community Schools and is also a registered dietitian. Let's first start off by having Kristin tell us about herself and her educational experience and work background.
Hello. As Mary said, my name is Kristin Stewart. I'm a registered dietitian and the Food Service Director in Romeo Community Schools. My lifelong passion for food led me from dreaming of owning my own bakery to pursuing my degree in culinary arts and pastry arts right out of high school. As I delved into the culinary world, I realized that while my dishes tasted good, they often contained excessive amounts of sugar, sodium, and fat. This realization sparked for me a journey towards creating healthy yet still delicious recipes. I began experimenting at home, seeking ways to enhance nutritional value without compromising taste, and ultimately, this led me to pursue my career as a registered dietitian. I enrolled in Eastern Michigan University's Registered Dietetics program, and at this time, my eyes were open to the world of school nutrition. I had multiple rotations with food service directors, and I was witnessing firsthand how nutritional guidelines impacted student participation. This experience ignited a passion for crafting nutritional and appealing school meals, and I needed to make sure that they met the nutritional regulations. I was able to take my journey into Ann Arbor Public Schools, where I spent 3 years as their registered dietitian, working with the students in transforming their meal programs. This led me full circle back to my hometown of Romeo, where I'm now dedicated to transforming Romeo's school meals and fostering healthy eating habits among our students.
Thank you, Kristin. We're so lucky to have you today. Let's talk a bit about school meals. Universal school breakfast and lunch are available in all of our schools this year for our students, which is a wonderful thing. But I know that there are many guidelines that you need to follow. Can you explain to us how you balance and create meals based on whole grains, fruits, and vegetables, in addition to being mindful of sodium, fat, and sugar content?
Yeah, so Michigan School Meals, which essentially allows all students to receive one breakfast and one lunch per day at no cost to families, is indeed a fantastic resource for our students. The nutrition in our school meals is actually set by the United States Department of Agriculture, which is better known to the community as the USDA. And the nutritional guidelines are meant to align with the nationwide Healthy People initiatives that come out every 10 years. Many people don't even realize we have fairly strict nutritional guidelines we must follow in school meals. Our grains, including things like pizza crust, sandwich breads, the buns, rice, even our breakfast cereals and the occasional cinnamon roll, all must be 100% whole grain or whole grain rich. And the reason for this is that whole grains play a crucial role in providing essential nutrients and energy, and it ensures our students who receive school meals receive the benefits of vitamins, minerals, and fiber. We also have guidelines in fruits and vegetables as part of a balanced school meal. So fresh options are prioritized when possible, and we offer a variety of fresh choices at both breakfast and lunch. We do also offer canned and frozen options on occasion to ensure year-round availability and affordability. But when we offer these types of options in school meals, our vegetables, for instance, must be no or low sodium, and any canned fruits, they must be canned in 100% fruit juice. And when it comes to things like sodium, fat, and sugar content, we also must follow strict nutritional guidelines. We follow best practices to meet these guidelines, such as using cooking methods that minimize added fats, like baking and steaming, or we carefully select products that have lower sodium content and prioritize whole, unprocessed foods whenever possible. I would say it's definitely a task to create meals that meet such strict nutritional standards while still being appealing to our Romeo students.
What about meals at home? I know a lot of parents have trouble deciding what to cook, how much, when they're thinking about feeding their children. What should parents consider when preparing meals for children? What tips and tricks do you have for parents? And if they're looking to reduce sodium or sugar, what should they do?
Yeah, so I would say the first thing is to include a variety of food. Offer a diverse range of fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and don't get discouraged. Research suggests that it may take anywhere from 8 to 15 exposures or more for children to develop a preference for a new food. I would also say do your best to limit processed foods. Minimize the use of processed foods, opt for fresh, whole ingredients whenever possible, because those processed foods often contain higher levels of sodium, sugar, and those unhealthy fats. Another great thing would be to cook from scratch. Cooking meals from scratch gives you, the parent, control over the ingredients used, and it allows for you to use less sodium, sugar, and unhealthy fat. And involve your children. Engaging children in meal planning and preparation encourages them to participate, and then they're more likely to consume that meal. I would also say that using herbs and spices are a little bit of a trick to reduce those sodium and fat content. It adds that flavor, it makes it more palatable without adding that sodium and fat. Choose low sodium options when you're looking at condiments or canned goods. These alternatives can actually significantly reduce overall sodium intake. And then serve whole fruits whenever possible as snacks. It could definitely limit any type of added sugars that you might find in processed foods. But I would say the biggest piece of advice I have is be a role model. Really, truly set that positive example by making those healthy food choices yourself. Children often mimic the eating behaviors that they observe the adults doing.
I know I've observed that with my own kids. If we make a salad and they help prep the ingredients, they're much more likely to eat it than if we just put it down in front of them.
Yes.
So that's something that we've noticed in our house for sure. What about nutrition labels? How can parents and students use a nutrition label to help them choose healthy food options? What should they look for and what should they avoid?
Yes, the world of nutrition labels. I would say that it's an essential skill for making an informed choice. The first step I would say to anybody, check the serving size on the label. This is going to help you understand how much of that food is recommended to be consumed and how it contributes to your overall nutrition. Being mindful of what that serving size is, as opposed to sitting down with that box of crackers or that bag of chips, allows you to be more aware of how much you're actually consuming. And then all other nutritional information is based on this serving size, so it's crucial to compare it to the amount you're actually consuming. I would say next, look at the calories per serving. And this is just a guideline. Calories are energy, so it'll help you understand the energy content of the food relative to your daily calorie needs. There are also nutrients we should be mindful of. I would say sodium, saturated fat, and trans fat on a food label, and of course added sugars are ones to watch out for. Choosing foods with lower amounts of these to support overall healthy eating and well-being. So I would say aim for foods with lower sodium content, especially if you're trying to reduce sodium intake. Foods with less than 5% of the daily value on that nutritional label for sodium per serving are considered low in sodium. I would limit saturated fats and I would avoid trans fats altogether. Most of our products do not contain trans fats, but always being mindful of this. Be mindful of added sugars. They can contribute to calorie intake and they really don't provide any essential nutrients. Foods with less than 10% of the daily value for added sugars per serving are considered low in added sugars. And then look for foods high in dietary fiber, as this promotes digestive health. Choose foods that are good sources of essential vitamins and minerals, such as calcium, iron, vitamin D, and potassium. And then I would lastly say, pay attention to the ingredient list. Ingredients are actually listed in descending order by the weight. So the first few ingredients make up the majority of the product. Choose foods with whole ingredients such as whole wheat flour and avoid those with added sugars, artificial additives, and excessive preservatives.
One thing I noticed on nutrition labels is items that might be low fat could have additional sugar to balance, the flavor. And so that's a trap. Or kids love the sugary drinks and juices, and it's just not a nutrient-rich calorie source for them.
Yes.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, anytime we take something out of a food, we have to put something back in it. And we really want to be mindful of what those beverages are, even those marketed beverages of juice and, sports drinks. There really are no nutritional panels. We're not getting any fiber, any vitamins, any minerals. So we would look at those as a little bit more of empty calories. So always being mindful and encouraging water or milk consumption when possible. But yeah, the world of nutrition and reading and navigating all of those claims is such a big, big topic.
I know you've also been working very hard in our schools and giving students opportunities to try new foods. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, I would love to talk about, we did an event at Indian Hills Elementary more recently, and it was for carrots. And we all might think everybody's had a carrot. But what we did is we offered orange, white, and purple carrots. And we let them try it. And each color had a different flavor and also comes with different nutrients. As we know, different fruits and vegetables, the different colors have different nutrient panels. And the kids were just excited. They were excited to try a purple carrot. And what that tells me is that we need to expose our kids to a variety of new foods, things that we might think that they will say, oh, that's weird, or I don't want it. Actually encourage it. Let them try it and ask them questions. Do you think it tastes different? Let them answer regardless of what you think and encourage them to try new foods.
That's awesome. That's such a great opportunity. Thank you, Kristin, for being here today. It's been very informative and helpful to learn about the school meal program and nutrition labels. We are incredibly grateful to MIT and Romeo Community Schools for helping us share this information. We will have additional mental health and wellness resource podcasts about once per month throughout the year. Kristin, thank you again for being here and sharing your knowledge.
Thank you.
And thank you, Mary, for hosting this episode, and special thanks to our guest, Kristin Stewart. I'm sure our listeners appreciate these helpful tips and advice on how to ensure a healthy, nutritious diet for their families. Over the summer, we will continue to provide helpful information to our families on a variety of topics. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next week to keep up with Romeo Community Schools. This podcast is powered by the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. If you're looking to start a podcast for your business or personal use, look no further than MIT TV. Their in-studio podcast experience allows you to record perfect audio and capture amazing video. That's all right here at the MIT TV of Romeo, Michigan. Contact them now via email for a free consultation and schedule a visit at mit.tvpodcast@gmail.com. That's mitt.tvpodcast@gmail.com.